You know when you think Emmerdale can't possibly push the drama any further, and then suddenly the whole village feels like it's about to erupt? Well, next week is exactly that. Secrets, heartbreak, police knocking at the door, even family ties being pulled apart. And at the very centre of it all is Charity, who's facing one of the toughest choices of her life. But she's not the only one with trouble brewing. April, Gabby, and even the younger kids like Carl and Lucas are all caught up in some pretty shocking twists. Let's go through everything coming up between Monday the 6th and Friday the 10th of October. Here are 12 big spoilers that fans will be talking about. Charity finally learns the truth about her baby's father. It all starts with Charity chasing those DNA results. Ross has been on her back constantly, desperate to know the truth. And next week, the results finally land, and the news rocks her to the core. It's Ross. Now, long-time fans will remember the tangled mess of emotions between Charity and Ross before. So this revelation isn't just about biology. It brings a whole history crashing back into the present. The weight of it is obvious as she turns to Chas for support. But how do you even begin to process something like this? 4. April walks away from home. Over on another front, April is at breaking point. After Leo's terrifying hospital trip, Rona's furious with her, convinced it's too risky to let April stay under the same roof. Marlon doesn't want to lose his daughter, but he's torn between protecting Leo and not pushing April further away. Feeling rejected, April tells them she'll just go and stay with friends. But instead, she heads toward Ray, who's clearly taking advantage of her vulnerability. Bob catches sight of her at the bus stop, bag in hand, and his heart sinks. He steps in quickly and offers her a place at the B&B. For viewers, it's a real mix of relief and dread. Relief that she's not under Ray's roof, but dread that she's even in this situation in the first place. 5. Celia steps in with some advice for Rona. Rona's guilt over pushing April away is eating at her, and Moira tries to lend an ear. But it's Celia who really makes an impression when she overhears and bluntly tells Rona she did the right thing by keeping some distance. Celia's not sugarcoating it, and her words actually hit home. For now, April remains away from her mum, and the family tension only deepens. This could easily go either way. Will April come back stronger or drift even further away? 6. Charles tries to guide Gabby and Vinny. Meanwhile, Gabby's struggling with her marriage. She opens up to Charles, admitting that things with Vinny just aren't working. Charles, being the vicar with endless patience, offers them both some time together for a sort of informal counselling. What's interesting is that for once, Gabby and Vinny are actually in the same room, being honest. Charles reminds them of what's still there: care, love, connection. For the first time in weeks, they walk away with some tiny spark of hope. Fans might remember Charles doing this for other couples before. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So the question is, will this be enough for Gabby and Vinny, or is it only a temporary fix? So we've got Charity unraveling, April drifting further from her family, and Gabby and Vinny patching over cracks. And it doesn't stop there. Things in the village get even more complicated as the week goes on. 7. Gabby's suspicions take over. Just when you think Gabby might be softening, her insecurities kick in. She walks in on Vinny and Lewis hugging after what looks like an innocent conversation. But for Gabby, it's not that simple. She sees it and immediately fears the worst. This is classic soap timing. One moment of comfort between friends, spiraling into accusations and paranoia. It leaves viewers asking whether Gabby's really ready to rebuild this marriage, or if her fears will always creep back in. 8. Laurel's house gets invaded, literally. Jimmy manages to cause chaos at the King house, and suddenly the whole King clan ends up moving into Laurel's. Now, anyone who knows Laurel knows she likes her space and her routine, and the Kings aren't exactly quiet guests. The scenes are bound to give fans some lighter moments among the heavier drama, with Laurel slowly losing patience and Jimmy sneaking away to escape the noise. Expect some classic comedy in the middle of all the chaos. 9. Carl and Lucas clash and the police get called. The younger generation is at it again. Carl grows closer to Kammy and Lucas doesn't take it well. Their tension explodes into a fight at school. Nicola's livid, blaming the Tate side for stirring up trouble, and suddenly the situation escalates beyond just playground drama. When the police get involved, both families are left reeling. Who called them, and what does this mean for the kids? Fans might remember similar feuds in the past, and they rarely end quietly. 10. Belle and Kammy might be moving too fast. Belle and Kammy's relationship has been warming up nicely, but next week they push things a step further. On the surface, it looks romantic and exciting, but the question hanging over it is whether they're rushing. Belle's been through so much already, and viewers know how quickly things can spiral for her. It's sweet, but it's also worrying. Can this relationship stand the test of time, or is it just too much too soon? If you're still watching and enjoying the spoilers, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow, and you'll never miss the next batch of Emmerdale updates. We've already had shock DNA results, rows, police visits, and even a house invasion. But the end of the week doesn't slow down, it hits even harder. 11. Chaz realizes she's neglecting Liam. Chaz has had her hands full with Charity's baby bombshell, but in the middle of all that, she's missed just how much Liam is crumbling. He's used to being the one who fixes everyone else, so now that the shoe's on the other foot and he's waiting on test results himself, he doesn't quite know how to cope. It's one thing being a doctor, but being the patient, that's a whole different world, and Liam's not handling it well at all. When Chaz finally notices, she tries to step in and show him she's there, but the problem is Liam's already slipped into that dark place of carrying it all on his own. Viewers will remember the times he's fallen apart before, and it's always painful to watch because he wears his heart right on the surface. There's a real worry here that even if Chaz means well, it might be too little too late. This could really test them as a couple. On one hand, Chaz knows she's let him down by putting Charity first. On the other, Liam may start to resent always being the afterthought. If he feels she's not truly in his corner, that tension could easily build into something bigger. And with his health hanging over him, the last thing he needs is more emotional strain. But it's Emmerdale, so we know it's never that simple. 12. Bob and Celia make peace. After their awkward moment last week, Bob is desperate to smooth things over with Celia. Luckily for him, she's willing to listen, and even buys him a coffee as a gesture of friendship. It's a small moment compared to the chaos around them, but it matters. Sometimes the quiet scenes remind us that not everything in the village is about fights and heartbreak. And honestly, after the week Emmerdale's giving us, a bit of peace is exactly what's needed. So there you have it, 12 big twists and turns hitting Emmerdale next week. Charity's secret is tearing her apart, April is caught between home and danger, Gabby's doubts, Kyle and Lucas drawing in the police, and a few rare lighter moments with Laurel and Bob. What strikes me most is how many different families are being pulled in opposite directions right now. This isn't just one storyline dominating, it's the whole village feeling the ripples. Next week is messy, emotional, and absolutely unmissable. If you stuck with me all the way through, thank you. I'd love to hear what you think. Should Charity tell Sarah the truth, or is she right to keep it hidden? Do you trust Gabby and Vinny to survive, or is that marriage on borrowed time? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like if you enjoyed this rundown, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of the drama still to come. Until next time, take care and get ready for another roller coaster week in Emmerdale.